Janine is the founder of Lil Filmmakers, a Philadelphia-based organization that has been empowering young creatives through media arts education for over 16 years. With a background in media arts from Temple University, Janine started her journey by volunteering at her former elementary school where she discovered her passion for teaching kids filmmaking skills. Through initiatives like Sony's Create Action Initiative, Janine continues to expand access to media technology, mentorship, and paid work experiences for underdeserved youth, fostering their confidence and career development in the creative industry. Welcome, Janine. It's a
Oh,
pleasure
thank
to
you
have
for
you on.
having me. I'm happy to be here with you, friend.
Now, Janine, tell me what inspired you to start this journey and how have you really seen the organization evolve over the years?
So the journey of what? To starting a nonprofit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I had zero intention of starting a nonprofit. In fact, when I graduated from Temple, I wasn't 100% sure what a nonprofit was. I was told by a philanthropist. So I had an article written about me in the Philadelphia Inquirer, a big paper here in Philly. And one of the education editors, yeah, came to visit me because she was told by a colleague who knew me that I was doing great work teaching kids how to make movies. And this was in 2007, okay? And the woman came. This is before like the internet really like took off. So she was doing something for this new I guess blog site called Philly.com. And I was like, oh, okay, this is before the internet really took off, so it wasn't a big deal. And she ended up writing this really great article and got some really great photos of me, great photos of the kids holding the camera, and wrote this beautiful story. And this philanthropist just so happened to be in bed sick, ended up reading the newspaper from front to back. So instead of it being on just their website, they put it in the actual paper, like a half a page, which is pretty sizable. The philanthropist saw the article written about me, emailed me, thought what I was doing was amazing, and started supporting the organization. Well, I wasn't an organization, I was just a teaching artist. And one day, maybe it's a year or two later, so she ended up um, buying me like a bunch of cameras, computers, everything I needed to teach the kids, right? She bought all this stuff for me and really leveled up the work that I was doing. So we had a conversation maybe a year or two later, and she suggested that I incorporate into a nonprofit. And I was like, her? Why? So she explained that she would get the tax benefits from it. Again, I got my degree in film and in media. I don't nonprofits, tax benefits. I have no idea what this woman's talking about. But nevertheless, she fronted the cost because it costs money to incorporate to a nonprofit. I was able to find a lawyer who to this day sits on our board that worked at Temple University, and she, at no cost to us, incorporated Little Filmmakers. She did all the paperwork for us, her and her team, and the philanthropist paid for all the fees. And that was 16 years ago in May. And that's how
Well,
Little Filmmakers became a nonprofit. So the crazy thing was, I was a teaching artist. I had to transition from that teaching artist to an actual nonprofit leader. And what a
well,
journey. Yeah.
yeah. And the irony is that it actually started from someone helping someone out.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it started out with someone actually seeing. I mean, I understood why she needed the tax benefits because then she was able to continue to support the organization. Um, but it was someone respecting and caring about the work that I was doing that helped turn us into a 501(c)(3).
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Janine, tell me, opening up to the market a little bit and what's going on? How are you being able to service the children at Lil Filmmakers, and how is the economic environment impacting you right now?
Oh, so in the current climate right now.
Yeah.
So as a nonprofit, so a little bit different for folks who don't know. So a nonprofit Majority of our funding comes from philanthropic efforts, so it's donors, and then we apply to grants through foundations. So we also have a model with Little Filmmakers where we do a fee for service. Partners, other small businesses or organizations will pay us for media projects. So it could be short form or long form videos. It could be live events. And what me and my team will do is we will train the young professionals up so they are able to perform like professional tasks and duties to create media content for our partners, and we get paid to do that. So three tiers. So it's donors, donations from individuals, foundations, and then the fee for service model. So we're in an interesting climate right now. So the reality of it is that most nonprofits are going after the same crumbs. What I mean is that there are more nonprofits than there is money. Money that's being distributed. There's always tons of money, but money that's being distributed. And what happens is there is a call for a proposal. 100 nonprofits will apply, and maybe just 10, less than 10% gets funding. So with everything that's happening here, um, in the state of America right now, with a lot of like federal funding just being allocated somewhere else or what have you, that means a lot of folks might be going to foundations to offset some of those costs, which means the playing field for trying to find funding got is even more crowded. It's even more crowded. So for us as a nonprofit, we're in the process of really transitioning to focusing on donations from individuals and creating other opportunities to increase our fee for service model, because we can't just depend on foundations. Again, the market's getting crowded. Visibility is really important. And then we're a small community organization. We're not a huge like national nonprofit. So we have to circumvent the system, and that's where we are right now. So we're just restructuring how we fundraise, how we market and communicate to our supporters, and finding other opportunities to generate revenues.
Gotcha. So, a drop in reliance on the grants, an increase in attention to donors, and the fee for service. So,
Yeah.
walk me through the fee for service. Are you sort of using industry rates, or are you coming down a little bit lower just because of the younger nature of the business?
That's
Or yeah.
yeah, that's a great question. So usually when we do fee for service, we charge what it would cost to do the project. We've learned over the years lowering the cost because there are young people working on it. Um, does it benefit the organization in the long run because it's a lot of work for not a lot of money. What we do is we pair our young people with professionals in the industry. So the kids, by kids, I mean they're young adults, so they're 18 to 24, and we have seasoned professionals actually project manage, and the younger students are shadowing. So they're doing the production assistant or they're assisting with editing. But a big chunk of the fee for service is the model is designed for us to provide a final product, a polished professional product, but it's the shadowing that makes our very particular fee for service model benefit the young people. So they get paid. We believe in paying our young people for their time. So it's a paid work experience, but they get to be out in the field and they get to learn hands on how it is to work with clients, what budgets look like, um, setting up for productions on locations. They get like a real world work experience. So that has been a way for us to also incentivize the work that we do, because young people, when they come to our organization, we do a lot of training and development, and they have to work their way up to get paid to be on shoots with professionals.
Gotcha. Now you got at least three revenue streams in that. What is some of the most important or necessary activities that you need to do in order to really shift the way the organization is right now?
Do me one favor. Repeat that again because my dog is growling.
Yeah, no worries. So,
Yeah, hopefully she doesn't
mm,
bark. I'll put her outside the office, but
no,
repeat
that's
the
okay. I don't even
you got
hear.
a little glitchy. You got a little glitchy too.
Yeah, yeah, that's okay. So Janine, so what becomes one of the most important things for the organization right now, even with, you've got three re solid revenue streams. What becomes the most important to really focus on right now, to put all your energy into building?
Yeah. So right now, the biggest thing for us this year is building the individual donor base. And the way we're going to do that is how we interact with the community. So really quickly, let me just go into like the organization and how we function. So we offer educational programs for young people between the ages of 10 years old to 24. So our younger people is very specific to learning, experimenting, storytelling, social emotional development, professional development, and then we go into our young adults who are getting like the paid work experience, the internship. Um, we have a 3,000 square foot facility here in Philadelphia where we are able to hold events, whether it's film screenings, whether it's special talks, conversations. We've actually had an organization, a theater company, come and do a play here, and it was sold out, and it was amazing. So the thing that we're going to
Right.
focus on right now is how do we continue to build our community up so the community can invest in the organization. So that's our focus, building up our donor base. Because I said before, the philanthropic space is going to get more crowded because folks who are not getting the federal dollars may try to shift their gears, they may pivot. Um, we are, again, a community organization, we're not a national organization. So there's a possibility that we could get swallowed up in this. So for us to ensure that we got visibility, we're still serving the communities the way that we see fit. We're going to focus our energy on folks who are looking to support this type of work that we're doing, especially seeing everything that's going on in America right now. Folks want to know how they can help. They may not go protest or boycott, but they may want to support an organization like ours.
Gotcha.
Sorry about the.
Um, no, you're good. And Janine, it's interesting. So how you've obviously got a really close knit community down there as well. How do you interact with them? Is it through email letters? Is it through calling? And how do you request those donorships? Is it like every week, month, a
Mm-hmm.
year?
Yeah, so we have newsletters that go out. We have our social media, and then we have our website. Again, we through our partnerships with different schools, different community centers. A lot of it's word of mouth. A lot of it's recommendations. We've had kids within our organization. I mean, one of our young people, he started with us at 10 years old, and he's 22 years old now, and he's a working professional in the industry. Like, this guy gets probably $1,500 a day if you need him to shoot something. And that's because he's been doing it for so long, and he was able to find like the pathways, and we helped develop those pipelines from education to work opportunities. So his story in itself helps to foster interest in what we have to offer. So like I said, word of mouth, our newsletters, our social media, our events, people come physically to the space. So yeah, those are just some of the ways that we're able to build community.
Amazing. And obviously you've got some really strong case studies there. How do you express those? Is it through testimonial? Is it through actual events that the young fella that has achieved so much success, does he turn up and actually advocate for the organization? And how's that work?
Yeah, so it is testimonials. It's recording their stories and sharing their stories. It's when we have folks who are interested in investing or wanting to get involved. Like we have his photo downstairs. We have a big, like, nice size photo of him with his camera because we did headshots of everybody, and he's always been like a talking point. And it's funny because he's so he's actually worked on an award-winning documentary, and people will come into the space and see his picture, and they're like, "Is that Jalen?" Like, yeah, that's Jalen. Like, he's one of those guys you just might know who he is because he's on everybody's production. So
Nice.
yeah, so
Yeah.
we were able to leverage. And the beautiful thing about him and other alum, they always come back. They come back to teach our younger filmmakers. They come to talk to funders because instead of us writing this all in a grant application, they come and they can have a conversation with folks who are interested in investing in us, and they can have an interaction with him where he can just speak very specifically to his experience and what worked for him as a young aspiring artist here in the city.
Beautiful. And Jen, what do you need to get absolutely right in order to make sure these donorships and this donor base that you're going to be working on building um, is really established better than ever before this year?
You know, and that's a great question because every donor may have something very specific that they're interested in. So we're talking about the individual donor base. What the common denominator is the impact, and everybody loves a great story, underdog story, or a story of just having tenacity, a young person getting accolades for a project that they worked on. These are the things that people tend to invest in because there's something about the way we work. They can see evidence of it working. There's one thing to say, well, we have impact on young people. It's another thing to actually see the young people and the impact that you've had on them. So that's the thing that we have to get right. We can have, the best written proposals, and we've written some really great proposals, but it always comes down to the project that these kids produce, and it comes down to their own personal testimonies. Like, this experience was XYZ for me. And then the evidence of that is the final product that we see. And the beautiful thing about having a partner like Sony is that we leveled up our production gear. And now we have what you would call like streaming approved cameras. So now, like, if we decide to put together a really solid project, there's nothing stopping us from being able to put it on Netflix or Amazon Prime or what have you. So now we've leveled up the opportunity for our young people to reach even higher with their goals.
Amazing. And 100% having those industry set standards with the cameras does help because when they've used those cameras, they can enter into the industry and knowing how to operate the exact same equipment they'll be using ahead.
Yeah.
So a lot of confidence in that. Janine, what would you say is the biggest hurdle right now in the business with regards to achieving that donor target that you're aiming for? And what is that target, by the way, in the next 6 to 12 months?
All right. I'm sorry. I missed the first part of your question. You said, what is the biggest what?
Yeah, so what would you say is the biggest hurdle in
Oh,
acquiring?
hurdle. Got you.
Yeah, yeah, and what is that target that you want to achieve?
Yeah. So the biggest hurdle for us right now is establishing a sustainer program. So, a sustainer program is building out that model where you identify who the potential donors are and creating consistent engagement specifically with them. So, engaging on social media, our website, things of that nature is helpful. But what I've learned and still learning is that when you have a sustainer program or a program specifically for individual donors, that's a different type of engagement. That's those are the folks that will probably get the short testimonial videos because they will value them because they want to see how their investment is going. So a sustainer program isn't necessarily someone that just donated $50 and that's it. These are the folks who are probably saying, I will donate $50 a month, at least for
Mm,
the year. And our goal is to build out this sustainer program and get a minimum of 20 to 40 folks for the first year. How do we build out this sustainer program that reflects the values of the folks who want to participate in investing in the community in some way, or investing in youth, or investing in storytelling. So building out that sustainer program, is the hurdle, but it's also the priority. That's the goal.
Absolutely. Why would you say that's also the hurdle? That's definitely the goal. What is like the obstacle in achieving that?
Yeah, because as a nonprofit, again, we're a mid-sized organization. A good 60% of our funding has come from foundations, grant writing. Like, I'm literally up to my
Mm,
ears in grant applications. Another good, I would say, so if what I say 60%, so maybe another 30% would be the fee for service. So we have, I could think off the top of my head, three different community partners who have paid us X amount of dollars to produce projects for them. And then the smaller part of that pie is the individual donors. We're working to increase that smaller pie. So that's sort of the hurdle. So that's a task that we haven't really uh, um, attacked yet. So we focused on the
gotcha.
grants, focused on the
Yeah.
fee for service. So now we need to build. The hurdle right now is building a model for that to be successful. So that's why it's kind of the hurdle and the goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Gotcha. And I'm curious, have you ever run sort of ads in the community, like geographically tagged to support this donor base activity?
That's a great idea. That is a great idea. We usually, like with our emails, our newsletters, even on our website, we can always tell people to donate now. But the challenge is, how do you actually activate people when they're intentionally donating to you? That's the thing we're building up now. So our goal for 2025, by the end of it, is to have that donor base set up. So, to your question, if I put an ad in the paper and say, "Hey, Little Filmmakers doing great work, make your donations matter in your community," that might be an idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, Janine, showcasing what you've done before really, really helps, right? And telling people why do anything, like why even donate, right? And then why do it? Why do it now? Why do it donate now with us? And then why do it with us instead of anyone else? Like, what is the impact that we've made in the community is
Yeah,
so important.
yeah, and it's important because Philadelphia. Again, I'm a part of a consortium. What organization is of other folks who are doing similar work. But what makes our work a bit unique is that for us, I've learned this over the years that you could teach a young person how to pick up a camera. Okay, they can learn all the bells and whistles, but if this young person is struggling with some kind of mental health challenges or insecurity, or they don't know how to check their calendar, they're not going to go far. We
Mm,
learned that building a young person from the inside out leads them down that path of success, right? I've seen plenty of
absolutely.
young people come through our program, very talented, but they couldn't sustain the work because they're either stubborn, they have anger issues, they don't really care, they're indifferent. So those young people tend to go in a different path. We want to focus on young people who want to be in this industry or have some kind of career, and it starts with your mindset. So our organization, we focus on the internal part of the young person, and then the storytelling and the technology that they're going to learn is the thing that they grow. Like, we can teach you that, but they also need to know who they are, and it also impacts the story that they tell. Anybody can pick up a camera nowadays, but it's what you have to say that makes a difference. And
Absolutely.
that's the difference for us. So if we have young people in our organization who are going into communities, they're capturing stories. For example, one of our partners, we are working with Thomas Jefferson University, and they are building parks in neighborhoods, low income neighborhoods. They're taking empty lots and they're literally making like a community green space. Studies show when there's a community green space, it makes the neighborhood feel a little bit better. Like, there's trees that have been planted. There's, you can sit, You can be one with nature. And my young people had the opportunity to go and film young people actually design the space with the professionals and build it. Like one of the kids was using, like, I think it's called a backhoe or something, and she was digging into the ground with this machine. And I think she was only like 14. So my young people got a chance to film that, packaged it up, and now that organization can use it for fundraising. And then we can use it as, this is what our young people are doing. We're capturing stories most people don't know is happening in their neighborhoods. So that's also the benefit of supporting our organization, because there's some great things going on in our communities, but we think about media as a landscape. It tends to, especially certain types of media, it tends to want to focus on the thing that's negative, because if it bleeds or whatever the case may be, people will jump on it, right? But
Yeah.
when there's great things happening, like sometimes people gloss over it, and that's part of the reason why there's a lot of, like, I would say, emotional unwellness, because we're inundated with so much negativity. And then we also think about how other populations of people are perceived in media. And it's a very specific lens that is not 100% accurate. It's very narrow, and it creates negative impact on people. And it also has people having unfair or unjust perspectives about certain populations of people, right? I could go down a whole tangent about the media and the power of it and who controls it, right? But if
Mm.
we teach our young people how to use the camera and control their own story, control their own narratives, they can make amazing changes in their neighborhoods. They can change the lives of the people living there, because now they're looking at these videos and seeing a completely different perspective from what they usually see. So it offers a spectrum, like a different way of seeing everything that's going on in our neighborhoods, from a more positive and authentic perspective.
I love it. And I love the fact that you're not only teaching them how to pick up a camera, but also uh, be a bit of a good human. Because if you're telling these stories, as storytelling is about human stories, right? And how can you know another human without being a good human yourself?
There it is. And you know what? We have this policy. We cause no harm. We cause no harm. And that's the culture of our organization. If you're here, that means you are going to, there's a power when you're able to create media, or if you're able to create narratives, because everybody can't do that. They don't know how to. I just had a friend ask me how to fix a printer. I'm like, oh God, I don't know. But when you have access to technology and you have a platform, you have a certain superpower everybody doesn't have. So use it for good. Use it for good. Don't use it, to make money by harming people, or to push narratives that are not fair because it benefits you on the back end. Like, I want my young people to come to this organization and feel like, if the world is upside down, this is how I can participate in making it better.
Love it. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Janine. What real great insights about how to not only transform the youth, but also transform the organization, and what you're looking to do in the future as well,
Yeah.
with regards to this uncertainty in this environment right now.
Yeah, exactly. So this is all
Yeah,
the more time for us to stand up and do something.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Janine, for your time.
Thank you. It was great talking to you.